Spoilers for Your Name Ahead, go watch it. The last time I talked about anime on this channel, I talked about A Silent Voice, which is a romance story that was one of my favorite movies I've seen in a long time, period. Let alone being one of my favorite anime weeb type things. I also made a video about it, which you should go watch after this video if you're a weeb. The movie that A Silent Voice is always compared to is Makoto Shinkai's Your Name, the incredibly popular film that is also a romance and also came out in the same year. And it's fucking incredible. I immediately jumped into Makoto Shinkai's Your Name after watching A Silent Voice and was excited to see how it would compare. And while A Silent Voice focused more on a grounded story exploring human emotion and connection, Your Name explores character connection and romance on a fantastical level, with its characters being linked via body swapping, which creates a more light-hearted romance compared to A Silent Voice. This film isn't out to make any profound messages about mental health, or depression, or things of that nature like the story of Shoya and Shoko. Your Name aims to create likable characters that we are rooting for to get together to then make the fantastical plot easier to be invested in, because you're already invested in Mitsuha and Taki and their dynamic of living each other's lives. This body swapping idea offers a unique way to show a connection growing between these two. It's not the typical meeting of two characters, they just have a different kind of bond drawing them together, which I'll speak more on in a minute. More on these characters though. While Mitsuha, funnily enough, is making Taki a much more likable person in his body and ironically getting him pussy from his boss, Taki is initially very brash and harsh towards her as they try to navigate the swapping at random. It tells the tale of two people from opposite worlds, so to speak, coming together and being linked. Mitsuha lives out in a village being heavily rooted in traditions and culture, wanting nothing more than to live in Tokyo. And she actually gets this wish through swapping with Taki, who lives in Tokyo and has a fast-paced life of work and school. This first half is just so fun and charming, and it's character-driven. It does such a damn good job of making us like Mitsuha and wanting her to be with Taki because she's so goddamn sweet. We get to see an intimate look at both characters' everyday lives and struggles. We see Mitsuha's relationship with her grandma and how deeply rooted they are in family customs, in contrast to Taki's hectic life, who isn't really involved with his father. We feel like we know these people in the same way that they learn about each other by living out each other's life, meeting their friends, knowing their problems, and solving them with each other due to essentially being the other person. The great thing here for me is that these characters actually feel like people, and it makes the eventual climax that much more impactful emotionally because Your Name does a good job at making us care about these two, which isn't fucking easy, and I applaud the movie for this. But this film is not simply about two characters falling in love and being all cutesy and shit. No. This film tries to expand on the concept of threads of life being connected and how these two characters' love is challenged and still holds true and even uses fucking time travel, which the film later explains using something called musubi. Musubi is the idea based on an ancient Asian myth called the String of Fate, or the Red Thread. Musubi is a mystical force tying everything together in the universe, and that includes the idea that Mitsuha and Taki are tied together by the thread of fate. They are meant to be together no matter the cost, and that's what the second half of the film puts in center stage. Here in the second act, we see Taki searching for the love of his life after they stopped switching bodies unexplainably. He knows what he is searching for, and he can feel that connection to Mitsuha, but just can't figure out who exactly he's looking for or where she is. We then get to see how love-driven Taki is and how determined he is to find the one fate is drawing him to. This act of the film helps us connect with Taki more, because we are rooting for him and want him to find Mitsuha just as much as he does. Giving him a journey to find her not only fleshes out the fantasy, but makes Taki a better protagonist. Maybe this is just me, but the first half mostly had me connecting with Mitsuha, and the second half seriously connecting with Taki. It's revealed that Mitsuha's hometown of Itomori was destroyed by a comet crashing into the village. Taki discovered this at the peak of his journey, and this is a shocking revelation for the audience, thinking and feeling in tandem with our protagonist, confused and devastated thinking that our best girl Mitsuha is dead. But through time, the two are still linked together via musubi and the thread connecting them, represented via the red thread motif, which leads us into this film's insane third act, which deserves its own section of the video. I felt such a sense of wonder and beautiful mystery heading into the third act that begins when Taki drinks Mita's sake, or whatever it was called. It had like Kuchi in the name or something. Anyway, Taki goes through this beautiful sequence showing how everything is linked by a thread of life, connecting with Musubi, which transcends time. This is the perfect time for me to say how amazing the animation is in this film. It is the most beautiful animation I could ever imagine, in my opinion, and everything just looks gorgeous and is filled with mood. The landscapes are incredibly detailed, the lighting makes every single scene give the viewer a certain vibe and energy in ways that even live action films struggle to accomplish this well. I mean, look at this. But pushing on, Taki once again wakes as Mitsuha on the day that the comet skullfucked Mitsuha's town, which sets up him as Mitsuha doing everything he can to try to save the town and the love of his life. This romance anime film then turns into an exciting evacuation escape type film with the romantic plot motivating us and keeping the audience invested. I think having this shift in tone and involving a little more excitement is a really great choice because it makes the romance that much more exciting as well. Anyway, Taki in the midst of his plan rushes over to the crater where his body was in the present, which Mitsuha now resides in. This is the thread linking them together once again, and Your Name reveals how this narrative pieces together as both their memories flood back, and how Mitsuha went to surprise Taki in an effort to finally come together and meet, and they did meet, but Taki didn't even know who Mitsuha was. When I realized that they were from different times and Taki lived in the present, but Mitsuha 3 years in the past, but the thread is what continues to connect them together, I lost my marbles. We get the greatest scene in the movie, with their timelines crossing and finally finding each other through the thread of life forever drawing them together. This is one of the best abstract scenes I've ever seen in a film, and is so effective. That's the only way I can describe it. Effective. This is the first time we actually see these two together in this insane circumstance, and it's so fucking cute and what we've wanted all along. The scene is a perfect summary of how I feel about Your Name. Its charming characters and interactions, its beautiful animation and music, portraying powerful emotions of love and connection in a fantastical way, but also in a way that feels insanely real and relatable. This scene makes the eventual finale of them actually meeting that much better. This is the perfect culmination of all the emotions and romantic drive through the whole film, and it still gives me goosebumps. And the ambiguity of this ending leaves the viewer with all the best emotions of this beautiful romance we just witnessed. All the emotions cultivate and culminate in one spot for both Taki and Mitsuha, and for the audience, and that's what makes this film even more relatable in my opinion. I know I'm not the first to discuss this film, and I know this video is somewhat all over the place, and while I still prefer a silent voice in a lot of ways, Your Name I think is just as phenomenal and deserves the heaps of praise it gets. Go watch this film if you haven't, and if you have, watch it again. It really is that much of a beauty. But thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate all the support and feedback that you guys always give. If you enjoyed it, why not consider clicking the like button and subscribing for more. If you want more anime related content, I have a video on silent voice, which is one of my best, I think. As always, give me all the feedback you would like to. Tell me what you thought of this film. Tell me what some of your other favorite anime films are down in the comments below. And as always, have a phenomenal rest of your week. Peace.